G'day, Nick here, Animal Engineering. Welcome back, all you legends. So today's mission, I think this will be episode 7, I think, on the Metro. So we've done the rust repair here on the bottom of the grill and fixed the flap. So today's mission is the two pieces on the sides, so both sides of the grill. They're rusted out as well, so we need to tackle that, fix that, cut that out. So yeah, we'll see. She's pretty toasted there. So yeah, both sides need cutting out and repairing. I was hoping to be able to use the second test piece I've done, which is the same as this, but this kind of maybe a bit hard to see there, but it actually tapers out and gets a bit wider here compared to this end, so I'm going to have to remake those pieces. But I've got the measurements and everything I've done for that piece, so it should be fairly straightforward. I've got the dies and everything that I know I need, so it should be pretty easy to do. You can see the piece I've done here is actually, see, it's a pretty good match. Pretty happy with that actually. You can see the gap here, but that's just this other piece is sort of smashed back a bit. So when I'll make my new panel on there, I'll just make a line up with the one I made. So yeah, we'll get cracking into that, rip this grill off, and make some new pieces. One thing I have noticed is that you got this sort of step in the panel here where the grill sits into. That carries on and follows into this piece. So I'm going to have to try and work out how, when I make this piece, I do that little step back so it goes in behind the grill. It could be a challenge, but we'll sort that out. So yeah, we'll start out making a couple of new pieces. So yeah, this end will be the same as how I done it last time. This end here is slightly wider, so I'm going to have to do it on a slight taper to match this. So that basically goes from 10mm this side to 14mm this side. So I've got to do a 4mm wedge over, so over 150mm, so 6 inches. So it's 4mm over 6 inches, which is what, that, a little bit over an eighth of an inch, I suppose, in freedom units. You can see I've got them both marked out on that slight angle. Theory should work. Right, so I've just made this extra little piece here, same as the other ones. So basically what I'm going to try and do is put my step dies in to the bead roller and see if I can actually go up and over and around this shape and put a step in it, the same as what's on the actual van. If it works, it's going to be the easiest way. If not, we'll find another way. But hopefully it should work. Righty, so these are the dies I'll be using. You can sort of see, I guess, how they work. Just pushes down and up. See, the radius is a lot tighter on my piece, so I feel like it's going to try and just open it up. But we'll give it a go. You see here I've actually stepped the dies slightly apart. If I have them too close together, the step's just going to be a real abrupt, sharp 90 step down. whereas on the van it's sort of goes a bit more of a taper. It's not just a square shoulder, it's like got a slight angle to it. So by making them just apart just that little bit, we'll actually give like a bit of a 45 to the step. So we'll give her a go. Alright, it's starting to rain now, so it might get a bit noisy in there, but there you go, so that's through the step. Six has munted it a fair bit, but it's not too ugly. I feel that with a bit of work on the hammer and dolly, we should be able to actually get that pretty good. So we'll give her a few whacks with the old hammer. See if we can get that to come to a point where it'll be acceptable to put on the van. Alrighty, so that was a little bit of time just heading it around the dolly there, just a bit of round bar I had in the drawer. You see it's come up a lot nicer, straight, it's got the step in there. Pretty good. So if we put it up to the grill, you can see gutsy. Rightio, so here you go, there's me piece there, you can see it's got a slight taper to it, it's got the step, matches the step that's here. So now we need to hack this off. Now, because this is sort of size for size, it's not going to go over the metal that's there already. So I think I'm going to have to just chop. Well, I'll leave that piece like that for now. It's fitting in there pretty good. It's going to need a little bit of a trim, but I'll do the same on the other side, and then we'll get the grill in, because we need to make sure that this piece lines up with the grill. Because otherwise, if I just go and tack it in there now, it could be just on the piss. Rightio. Fast forward a couple of hours in my life, and I've just been on a mission to sort out this shit show. I've been dealing with this for way too long. I always turn around, roll an ankle on the grinder, kick shit, 10mm socket teleports into another dimension. You spend half an hour trying to find that bastard. So I have just got myself, ooh, little red rocket. This beast, look at it. Whoa. No more shit on the ground. It's got little fancy holders here, you put screwdrivers and stuff. Woo. Boom. How's it going? Look at that. Weapon. But anyway, chilled out now, not bending down, getting crap off the floor. You can see here we've got the grill back on. Got my little patch panel. It all fits in there quite nicely. There's a little bit of a gap there, but we can live with that. There's no rust. So now it's just a case of fiddling it in there, marking where we're going to cut, and yeah, get her in, tacked up. Alright, well that's fitting in there quite nice. We'll track the grill shell back on and just check it again. Right, some of you more keen-eyed viewers may notice that I've kind of ballsed up my cut, which kind of sucks, but
Right, so if you find yourself in a predicament, you've really messed up, you have a big gap like I do. Now if I just go and try and TIG weld that up with a big gap there like that, it's just going to put a lot of extra heat in there. So the little trick is you get yourself a piece of copper. The mild steel doesn't stick to the copper, so you put that in on the back side. That sort of allows you to just get the metal in there, weld it up without making a huge mess. Okay, that's all glued together. Yeah, we'll get the grill off again and just finish the last little piece that's in behind it. Looking at that, that's actually the next piece. Next piece is actually going to weld it to the frame. I'll leave that for now, but I'm not 100% certain I'm not going to have to pull this panel off the van. And if I weld it there now, just somewhere else I'm going to have to cut it after. So do a quick little hammer and dolly on this, try and smooth it out a bit more. Rightio, well after that total balls up of the cut I made, managed to get it filled in, put a copper in behind there. It all rolls in quite nicely together, which is the main thing. So now we'll just do the other side. Alright, now I've got the grill back on. You can see it all flows quite nicely when you look down from the end. Fits quite good. You see there's a small gap down the bottom here, but when I actually come to weld this piece onto the frame, I sort of pull it forward a bit and it goes alright. But yeah, all lines up, looks pretty mint. So other than my balls up with the cut in there, that turned out pretty good I reckon. So yeah, we'll just move on to the other side now and do the same. Try and do a better job. Rightio, so as we come over to this other side, it's a bit different. You can see this body line here comes down and it actually gets wider at the bottom. So we're not going to have a nice sort of fit up as this side comes down and it's nice and overlapping right to the edge where we've done that step. This side's going to be a little bit different. You're going to see the step, which is a bit of a bummer, but all the bolt holes line up, so it's just kind of how it is really. But yeah, you can see, you can really see how this new piece is kicking up on an angle. The rest of it's nice and straight and flat, but here to line up with this piece, it's actually having to kick right up. Now there's a bit of damage sort of here and around the corner, so I'm going to try and hammer and dolly those dents out, and then I think I'll actually try and hit this down. I think it's a lot flatter than this side. This side's got a slight, it tapers, like comes down slightly. So I think whenever this has had a hit, you can sort of see, I don't know if you can really see it there, but this is actually kicked out this way. So I'm thinking maybe this has been caught by something at some point, and you can see up top here when I pull that out, see it sort of kicks it up. So I think I need to probably make a few adjustments on this panel first, hit this down so that we can get this to be nice and flat. If I weld it up how it is at the moment, so my new patch panel line just is flush with this piece. When you look from the front, it's going to be kicked up and it'll look horrible. So yeah, just hit away on this quickly, just get it sort of roughed out, and then we'll better have a bit of an idea of where we're going. Right, there you go, that's very roughly done, but it's got the main sort of dents that were there out. This section here is now a lot flatter. Alrighty, breaking out a big gun, the old Gimpy. Alright, well you sort of see there, that's straightened it up a fair bit. One thing that's sort of throwing it off is this side, this piece here, compared to this side. So the other side that I've just done 60 mil, this part here is actually 65. So it's actually wider than the other side, which I've made my patch panels the same. So I think I'm gonna have to try and, I'll get it tacked up so it's lining up flush on the top. And I might just have to hammer and dolly the bottom to bring it up to match my patch panel, I think. So yeah, we'll mark that out, we'll cut it out, and then yeah, start tacking her in. Right, that's where it wants to sit. Just look from back here, you see it's nice and straight the whole way across, which is what I'm after. Got that piece fitting in there nicely, it's all nice and flat with the rest of everything that's in there. So yeah, we'll start tacking her in. Oh, well, that's another piece of rust gone forever. So, see, she's all on there, sanded up. I might get one of those little thin belt sanders to just tidy up the other side. It's a bit hard getting in there with a big old grinder. Yeah, you can look, she's nice and straight the whole way across. It's quite surprising actually how little you have to hit the sheet metal to actually get it to move. I'm normally used to working on much thicker stuff and you just beat it with a hammer, but she's on there, looks good. Yeah, so I think we'll leave it there for this episode. Cheers for watching, subscribe, give it the old thumbs up if you like the video, and we will continue on another day. Cheers for watching.